Hi there, got a question. If you've ever wondered why the mere mention of your ex's name still drives you crazy, it's because you haven't emotionally healed from your divorce yet. Hi, I'm Reiki Rita Roberts. I'm a holistic emotional health coach that focuses on the emotional health of the divorced mom. So today's blog is called 10 Ways to Know If You're Emotionally Healed from Your Divorce. Right, so it's like any other form of parenting. No one teaches us how to be parents. Well, nobody teaches us how to be divorced parents. So we have to figure this all out ourselves. What I've learned is that in order to be a good parent, you have to be a healthy one and a happy one. So if your emotional health is not in check, then we need to start doing something. So before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to this video or my channel, please do so, because apparently that's what keeps these videos going. So many divorced moms are under the impression that if enough time passes after the divorce, they would eventually get over their ex and they'll naturally just move on. But unfortunately, this couldn't be further from the truth. If you haven't invested the time or the energy to heal the stress or painful triggers from your divorce, then you might find yourself stuck in dead-end conversations, always reacting negatively towards your ex and unable to move on to a better life. And you may find yourself stuck for years, 5, 10, 20, the rest of your life. So again, nothing's going to change till you change, not your ex. Because remember, you can't change other people. You only have control of you. So here are 10 ways to tell that you've not healed from your divorce. If you check even one of them, then there's some work that needs to be done. So number 1, do you feel negatively triggered, i.e. angry, resentful, jealous, manipulative when you hear your ex's name? Just the mere mention of his name. If you're having a hard time carrying on a conversation without having the desire to drag your ex through the mud every chance you get, then that's an obvious sign that you're still emotionally charged by him and you still need to heal. Point number 2, do you feel stressed, anxious, or afraid when you have to see or talk to your ex? If you still lose energy to any experience that causes you stress, fear, anxiety, whenever you communicate with your ex, then that's another sign that you need to heal to rebuild your confidence, your self-worth. Okay? Number 3, do you find yourself addicted to divorce drama, unable to stop talking about it? I remember at one point when I was going through this, I could hear the stories I was saying, and eventually I got sick of my own stories. So imagine the other people on the receiving end listening to Rita, ba, 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 ba. After a while, it's like, this is old news. You need to move on. People are just being polite by listening to you. Truth of the matter is, they're tired. So if you notice that they're not as available as they used to be, or changing the subject, then that's a very good clue that they don't want to hear your old divorce stories and you need to move on. Okay? I know it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. Number 4, do you believe that your ex is completely responsible for the breakdown of your marriage? Now, you know that's not true, regardless of what he did or didn't do. You're part of the equation. You're 50% of the equation. So you need to own that. Okay? So what ends up happening is a lot of people will go into denial and deny the fact that they had any part of it or there was problems with their marriage. So that's point 5. Are you comfortable in denial and not willing to speak about the problems you had in your marriage? Because stepping out of denial would mean that you'd have to face the truth and the imperfections of your marriage, that there were problems. It also means you can't avoid responsibility anymore. You need to do something about it. See, once the truth gets out, you can't deny it anymore. You have to do something. So when people are afraid to do something, they'll just stay in denial of it and just kind of go like this. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. But in the end of the day, that's a childish way to deal with things. Okay? Grown up, we have to put our big girl pants on and we have to own it. You're telling your children to own their mistakes. We need to own ours as well. Okay? So point number 6, do you feel anxious about a future without your ex's support, either financially or otherwise? In a marriage, we tend to become co-parent or codependent on our spouse. And as archaic as it seems, a lot of marriages fall into role playing. The woman does this and the man does that. And I know we're all liberated, but a lot of marriages still fall into that role. So when you find yourself divorced, there's a fear of, oh my God, I don't know how to pay the bills. Oh my God, I don't know how to mow the lawn. Oh my God, I don't know how to fix the sink or the dishwasher. Because that was your husband's roles. I know that's one of the deciding factors that I had to consider when I was getting divorced, because my ex was very handy. So I thought, do I divorce the handyman? You know, it's scary. I know it sounds superficial, but it's the truth. We get comfortable with what we know. And when we have to do something that we're not comfortable doing, we want to resist it. All right? So number 7, do you take every opportunity to say negative things about your ex to other people, particularly your children? As the saying goes, wounded people often wound other people. So when we're hurting, we want him to hurt. You know, we want them to hurt. How dare you hurt me? Again, it's a childish way. You tit for tat. You do this to me, well, I'm going to do that to you. It's not a grown-up, adult way to deal with difficulty. Okay? So if you catch yourself slandering your ex, and, or, catch yourself doing it, stop. I know some women will spend years in court creating smear campaigns against their husband. And at the end of the day, I get it. There are a lot of deadbeat husbands and exes and fathers. However, we're talking about you now, your emotional health. So blaming him is not going to change your emotional health. Yes, it will. In fact, it'll make it worse. So let's put him aside. Let's focus on you. All right? This is the only way out. He's going to have to be accountable for his own behavior. There's this thing called karma. Okay? So let karma take care of him. You take care of you because your children need you. All right? So listen to Mama Rita. Number 8, have you developed a mistrust or a hatred towards men as a result of your divorce? I know I did. It's a defense mechanism. You know, it's called displacement. Psychologists call it displacement. Displacement is a psychological defense mechanism where a person redirects their negative emotions from its original source, which is your ex, towards a less threatening recipient, which is other men. So because one man hurt us, all men are idiots. So, I mean, I went through that as well, and it's not the truth. There's some genuine, amazing, good fathers, good men out there. And when your heart is not hurting anymore, you'll see them. Okay? Number 9, do you feel justified in saying that you're the victim of your divorce? Positioning yourself as a victim of divorce is a very, very common strategy for the person who did not initiate the divorce. All right? So you want to identify if you're playing that role, and if you are, you need to step out, as we talked about earlier. Staying in the victim is not going to help your health. It's not going to help your life. It's not going to help your children. Okay? At the end of the day, it just makes us look weak and pathetic. So yes, divorce happened to you, but you don't need to be a victim of it. Things happen to all of us all the time. So we either rise above it or we stay small, pitiful or powerful, as my mentor Joyce Meyer would say. Finally, number 10, you have not or are not willing to forgive your ex or any other person you believe contributed to your divorce. Forgiveness is key. You might not be there yet, but eventually you need to go there. Because as long as you hold on to and forget this nonsense about, I forgive but I don't forget. If you don't forget, you haven't forgiven. Okay? You need to release all that energy. What do you need to keep reminding yourself about it? I get that you've learned the lesson. Take the teaching and the lesson and the life experience, but let all the rest of it go. Okay? So forgiveness is key, and it's huge, and I will dedicate another whole teaching just to forgiveness, because it's huge. So if you find yourself identifying with even one of these scenarios, then there's some healing to be done. Okay? If you identify with more than one, then you really need to jump on the program now. Okay? Remember, I will be with you every step of the way. So, my coaching recommendation to you is to start believing that you deserve to be happy and redirect all your time and energy to improving your emotional health and to stop self-sabotaging. All right? You got to remember, we only got one life here. We've got past lives too, if you believe that, but we got one life here. Do you want to live it strong and full, or do you want to live it just wallowing in self-pity and pain and unhappiness? There's enough of that in the world going on its own. You don't need to have that in your home as well. So, truly, from my heart to yours, invest in yourself. You are an amazing person. The world needs you. Your children need you. And without you, some part of the world is not going to have the gifts and the talents that God bestowed upon you. For as long as you stay small and unhappy, you're never going to step into that creative person that you are. So let's stop that now. Let's heal your heart and let's move on with your life. Because God's ready to give you amazing things in your life. And as long as you stay in victimhood and in pain, you won't be in that energetic space to receive them. Okay? So please invest in yourself. So from my heart to yours, hope you found this helpful. If you did, leave your comments. Tell me how you feel, what you need help with. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. From my heart to yours, God bless. Be well.